No, it's actually ridiculous that in 2024, people are talking about Cooler and Broly DLC in a Dragon Ball game. Now, we're talking about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but this applies to every Dragon Ball game in general that comes out nowadays. But Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, I've seen people that are actually okay with the notion of characters from GT and characters from the movies being DLC and not being a lock for the base game roster. And this is a symptom of the recycled roster crisis. Now, I'm going to coin that term because it's something that's been going on really since the beginning of the PS4 era. You could definitely mark it somewhere at the end of the PS3 era. Like, definitely Raging Blast 2 started the trend, but like every Dragon Ball game has got this real issue now where like characters that used to be staple characters, like a lock-in character in the base game, they're being resold, repackaged as DLC or pre-order incentives. Like, for example, Bardock. He was a DLC portion in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I think that he was a DLC character in Dragon Ball FighterZ. And if you know anything, ever since Budokai 3, Bardock had been like a staple base game character. Like Tenkaichi 1, Tenkaichi 2, Tenkaichi 3, Raging Blast 1, Raging Blast 2. Every Dragon Ball game had that character. Same thing with Broly. Ever since Budokai 3, Broly's been in literally every Dragon Ball game. A lock, without question, period, point blank. Cooler was a lock ever since he debuted in his initial Dragon Ball game. And this pattern became even more grimy when you get to this modern generation of games where people are now bracing themselves and celebrating the fact that these characters are going to be DLC, because when you look at that 164 roster, there really isn't space for them at all. There's no space for Cooler when you're filling up the roster with Dragon Ball Super characters and you know who's coming with the Ultra Instincts and the Tournament of Power and the modern movies, and you know all these things are definitely going to make it in the game. So it pushes out characters that should definitely be a lock, and it pushes out a lot of Z characters. It eliminates the potential for Dragon Ball GT characters. So now the only potential that these characters have of being in the game is through DLC. That's their only potential route of getting into the game. And that is ridiculous in 2024, because it's not as though that they forgot the characters in the development process. No, it's just no new anime, no new this stuff. We're just going to take these obvious characters that should be in the game and put them in another separate category, make them DLC. That's freaking ridiculous. But I'll give Dragon Ball Sparking Zero this. It wasn't the first game to do it. It's just the first game that in a long time is really obvious what they're doing, and it's completely grimy. And every new Dragon Ball game is doing it. And now this is why people are really just like fed up with Dragon Ball games. Because I think this should not be. BoJack should not be a DLC character in 2024. Okay, Turles should not be a DLC character in 2024. These characters have been out for so long that they should be a lock-in. They should be a base game guarantee. 100%, okay? Especially in an arena fighter, okay? And it's not like Dragon Ball lacks content for them to pull DLC from. I mean, look, I've said this multiple times. Fasha should have been a lock for the base game, but if you wanted to make Fasha DLC in Xenoverse, you know why that would be okay? Fasha and Garlic Jr. and King Vegeta and characters like that. It's because you haven't seen them since Budokai Tenkaichi 3. So even though it's bad that they were exempted from all those games leading up to Xenoverse 2 and Sparking Zero, I mean, you don't have anything new going on as far as the anime is concerned. That's not our fault. Like, I'm sorry, quit relying on new anime content because that's the sizzle reel. Like, oh, look, Goku got a new hair color. Buy the new DLC or buy the new game because he's going to be on the cover. I'm sorry that you can't rely on that. And again, I've said this before, Xenoverse, as much as I'm a fan of the series, they got by with a lot from Dragon Ball Super, okay? It was pretty much half and half. It was old movie content, which alone by itself would have pissed a lot of people off because a lot of people agree those characters should be in the base game. I'm gonna say free of charge because you're paying the price of the game, but yeah, should not be DLC. But they got by on Dragon Ball Super being a thing right then. They got by on Dragon Ball Super Broly. They got by on Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So it was okay. Nobody really cared as long as it was actual new to the franchise content coming into the games. Well, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero doesn't have that advantage now, do they? And I doubt that anyone's going to care about anything coming out of Dragon Ball Diamond because nobody's rocking with the Dragon Ball Rugrats. So that's not our fault for you not being positioned at the time that a new anime is coming out. So what, you want to just sit up there and take characters out that should be a base game roster lock? But no, we're going to keep on doing the recycled roster, the same character. It's never, and again, it's never any new characters that people are discussing as DLC. It's always the same crop of base game characters, same crop of DLC characters. You know, that's the sad part, right? It's always, well, Cooler will be DLC. Turtles will be DLC. Android 13 might be DLC. Broly might be DLC. In 2024. In 2024, these characters should not be DLC. They ought to be at that point of being base game roster locks. But recycle content, recycle roster cycle, recycle roster crisis again. Same base game characters. If you got all your Saiyan Saga regulars, you know, you're going to get your base Goku, Nappa, Vegeta, Raditz, Piccolo, Kid Gohan, with Tien, Yamcha, etc., etc. Oh, Namek Saga, okay, here comes the Ginyu Force, but no Kui. And again, before people say, well, Kui's not even the point, that's not the point. And an arena fighter, it doesn't matter the power level or the promise of the character. It just matters about having all the necessary pieces to tell the story of Dragon Ball. So if I get to, you know, reenacting the Bardock story, yeah, I want all Bardock's crew. I don't care about their power levels. I want Fasha, Borgish, Toma, Shugesh. I want King Vegeta. All his designs. I want Z and Dragon Ball Super designs. And Dragon Ball Super Broly design. You know, it's kind of ridiculous that we get to the Turles arc. We just get Turles. We have never gotten his henchmen so that we could do the whole story of the Tree of Might. But we're just comfortable with, oh, Turles DLC. Not Turles better be in the base game roster. And, oh, his henchmen might come in and they have really cool moves, really cool combos that you want to play as. No. Same recycled roster every damn game. Oh, Dragon Ball GT. I wonder who's coming. Oh, nope, it's the same Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Kid Goku, Pan. Oh, look, here comes Omega Shenron with no Sin Shenron. Oh, here comes Nova and Ice, but no Oceanus. Oh, here comes Baby, but it's only the final form of Baby, and maybe Grade 8 Baby if you're lucky, not the other forms, because it's the same recycled roster crisis over and over again. Even in the DLC roster, I'm tired of them being. You see what I'm saying? Would I mind it if they would go ahead and freshen up the DLC roster? Because if you're gonna do DLC, at least do it right, because you got like characters like General Rildo, who has never been in a Dragon Ball game. How about making him DLC and making sure that all the forms of Baby show up in the game? You know what? How about making Hachiak DLC? And that applies for any Dragon Ball game. And that is not just unique to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That goes to every Dragon Ball game. There are characters that have not been in Dragon Ball games before. There are characters that have not shown up for so many games since PS2 that, people would be okay with them being DLC. But no, same crop of characters over and over and over and over again. The recycled roster crisis. And you know who perpetuates it? The audience, the fan base. When they line up and they're, oh, I'm no hyper for the same character being DLC 50 times. I'm so hyped for the same base game roster of characters. Why have roster speculation videos anymore? Because it's the same damn characters in the base game. It's the same damn characters. You can't even get a guarantee on getting second form Cell and second form Frieza and third form Frieza as base game characters. Even DLC characters is freaking ridiculous. You can't even get Dr. Gero, Dr. Damn Gero in a Dragon Ball game. He's the most integral part of the Cell saga. Android 19, the first one to hand Super Saiyan Goku. It's ridiculous. It is actually damn ridiculous. But again, you know who perpetuates it? The fans, the Dragon Ball defenders. And again, that extends to Xenoverse 2 as well, because we have the Dragon Ball defenders over there too. But definitely it's been more prevalent of Sparking Zero as of late. Every missing character that ought to be a lock. That should be complained about, because like, wait, hey, what the hell? Where is this character? Why aren't you developing them? Why is it just more super slop? Dragon Ball super slop, like Konkusa. I'd rather have Android 19 than Konkusa any day of the damn week. I'd rather have Dr. Gero any day of the damn week than Ribrianne. And again, that's not saying that they shouldn't be in the game, because there are fans in them somewhere, I guess, the two of them. But that's what happens when you don't have all the players in the deck. You don't have all the cards in the deck. You get resentful at wasted roster slots because you're recycling the same characters over and over and over again. Why are we acting like it's limited roster space on the disc? I keep on hearing people brag about what PS4 and PS5 are capable of. Oh, the visuals, the space-wise, the hardware, and then we want to act like they have to ration out space when the DVD discs of the PS2 era were able to contain well over 200 characters in BT3. Or 164 characters at that time, and we haven't gone beyond that. I'm just saying, it is ridiculous.